What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Daniel's Stock Bites. And in today's video, this is episode 4, and we're going to be talking about Workhorse and Apple stock today. Before we get started, if you enjoy these stock bites, please consider subscribing to the channel. So first, let's jump over to the Workhorse charts because I did do a video here on my Workhorse options play, and I'll let you know how that went. So here on the Workhorse chart, you can see that Workhorse had this wedge in that I drew here on the previous episode, and then it broke out of that wedge, but today it came all the way crashing back onto this support line here in this wedge. So for my options play I told you guys about in my previous episode, it was an options play. It was a call that I bought for about $1.75 per option, which is basically $175 for the contract. And this is ending October 16th with a strike price of $24.50. And I bought it on October 7th, and I actually sold out on my contract yesterday on Thanksgiving Monday here in Canada, which is why I didn't post the video. But I sold out for $475. So that was over a 100% gain. And let me talk about quickly why I decided to sell out. So in my previous video, I did mention that I was looking to sell out probably before the announcement came out on Tuesday today. And yesterday, to be honest, I had a very difficult time deciding whether I wanted to keep the option or not. So I guess part of me was like, what if I kept the option until Tuesday and maybe there's some huge news that USPS ended up choosing Workhorse, but then that would also be risking my position and possibly seeing Workhorse drop if they didn't get the contract. So I decided to stick with my original plan, which was to sell out before the actual announcement date. Because for those of you who have been in the stock market long enough, usually on the announcement day of any sort of news, the stock tends to drop because there's already enough hype built into the stock before that news comes out. So as you can see in Workhorse's chart, if we just zoom out a bit here and make this a bit smaller, you can see that there was a huge price run up here since May all the way up to October where we are now. And I think this USPS contract was really just priced in. So ultimately Workhorse ended up selling off today, when we see here in this news article that the USPS contract decision was reportedly delayed. So Roth Capital ended up downgrading the stock and has sent the shares down about 12.8% Tuesday. And one thing I did notice here is that, it ended up closing out right along this, the bottom of this wedge. So what I'm going to do here for this chart is actually switch up this wedge to maybe be more like this. So you can see that the contract of USPS and other articles are stating that it's probably going to come out in December. So I can see Workhorse stock probably trading between these two lines now and having some sort of upwards channel wedge. And then possibly could break up or break down after that. We don't really know the direction, but I would be waiting for some sort of confirmation. Another way to draw this wedge is to probably bring it back down to here if we're looking for something more shorter term. Ultimately, because the stock did end up opening here and closing down here, and in between it did trade up here, but I wouldn't say this is a very strong indication of moving the wedge all the way up here. So for those of you who are shorter term traders, maybe look for some price action in the next couple of weeks for Workhorse. So now let's move on to Apple stock. For those of you who haven't been living under a rock, you'll know that Apple had their iPhone event today, and they announced the new 5G iPhones. This is their iPhone 12 lineup. So they have the iPhone mini, iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPhone 12 Pro Max. And we can see that in the day, if we just switch this over, Apple stock actually didn't do so well today. So it started here, and it ended up, trading kind of sideways. And the event happened at around 1 o'clock, and it spiked up for a little bit and then came back down. And I think usually this is just another case of where Apple announced its news. There's no hype anymore. People aren't anticipating anything more. All the news is leaked. And maybe there wasn't anything super crazy where investors are like, wow, we should buy Apple stock now because it's going to be crazy. So the stock ultimately did end up selling off. And we could see there was a run up to the Apple event and then it kind of dropped off. But I think going forward for Apple, there still is a very positive outlook because this 5G iPhone that they just released, it's the first 5G iPhone that they have. So a lot of people have been waiting to upgrade, and we'll probably end up seeing in the next quarter when they release the reports of what numbers are doing with their iPhones. I think a lot of people are going to be upgrading their iPhones to the iPhone 12, and personally I am looking to purchase an iPhone 12 just because I'm moving towards the Apple ecosystem, and I do like the design and the fact that it's 5G and it's a lot more future-proof. One thing, if you're looking to buy into Apple stock or trade Apple stock, look for reviews on the iPhone 12 coming out, because I'm sure a lot of YouTubers will be doing reviews on the iPhone 12. And just what they say about it and also what the news says about it will greatly impact iPhone sales and ultimately Apple stock. Anyways, this is a bit of a longer video, but I did 2 stocks here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please smash that thumbs up button as it really helps on my channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you guys are new here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.